Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. I'm currently on my summer holiday this week, so there is no episode of my podcast. However, I do have a short clip lined up for you on Lewis Hamilton and the team model from my previous Formula 1 episode. We'll resume as normal next week. Hope you're all having a good summer, and I'll catch you then.
Beyond the flash and scoreboard light, it's the engine that's burning inside. We're breaking down the walls in your head, leaving all your doubts for dead. It's time to come alive, Sport Rewired. Come on, Sport Rewired.
Hamilton is in a unique position right now where he's routinely going up against highly talented, physically at the top of their game drivers who are more than a decade younger than him. But what makes him stand out so distinctly with this specific formula of cars isn't just raw reflexes. It is his exceptionally high level of cognitive efficiency. The modern hybrid power units require constant active management from the cockpit. Drivers aren't just steering around apexes. They are managing complex energy systems, deciding exactly when to deploy manual boost overrides, adjusting active aerodynamics between cornering and straight line phases. If a driver gets bogged down trying to calculate all of these engineering variables while simultaneously racing wheel to wheel, they can experience cognitive overload. Their working memory redlines. Their physical reaction time slowed down simply because their conscious brain is too busy doing the math. What makes Hamilton so incredibly effective in this current environment is his ability to maintain an analytical, calm mind under intense pressure. He drives these hyper-complex cars exactly like he has managed his entire career at the peak of his powers. Always thinking, always calculating, and constantly looking for ways to extract the absolute best out of his system. Through clinical studies and human performance, you quickly realize that technical skill is only half the equation. Underneath the telemetry, trust, expectancy, and belief are not just abstract concepts. They are the primary cognitive drivers that determine whether we succeed or collapse under pressure. These three elements form the absolute bedrock of what we call the working alliance with the therapist. The team model stands for trust, expectation, attitude, and motivation. When you look at Lewis Hamilton's resurgence with Ferrari, you're watching a masterclass in these benefits playing out in real time with his team. So let's look at the team model, starting with trust. In clinical practice, trust is the essential bond in the model of the working alliance, sitting alongside an explicit agreement on goals and tasks. Hamilton has worked so hard to build a foundation of mutual trust with his engineers at Ferrari after a bumpy start to his career there. This trust facilitates immense emotional depth and focus. When a driver trusts his team, and when the team trusts his driver, they are far more willing to explore the protected recesses of their own experience and push the absolute limits of the car. Furthermore, a driver's trust in their own team directly builds self-acceptance and self-trust. When Hamilton trusts his own reflexes and his own ability to respond to a changing track and changing conditions, he develops the high self-efficacy needed to make lasting performance changes. From a therapy standpoint, this high level of rapport drastically reduces internal resistance. It ensures that critical operational feedback and tactical suggestions are accepted by his brain more readily, with far less conscious analysis or interference getting in the way of his driving. Second, we look at expectancy, which researchers like Irving Kirsch refer to as the non-deceptive mega placebo. Response expectancy is perhaps the single most important factor in how the human mind responds to a suggestion or high-pressure stimulus. Expectancy can create self-fulfilling prophecies, both good and bad. Because Hamilton steps into the garage expecting a specific positive outcome from a setup or a strategy shift, that exact expectation triggers the actual physiological and psychological response within his body. Research suggests that a massive percentage of a client's actual relief or breakthrough is directly attributable to the sheer expectation of their own success. Finally, we have attitude and motivation. In the cognitive behavioral model, belief is viewed as an internal rule that governs a person's entire map of the world. Following Albert Bandura's foundational psychological theories, an individual's belief in their own personal competence, their self-efficacy, is the most reliable predictor of their actual performance and their persistence in the face of immense challenges. By anchoring a positive belief during preparation, the absolute conviction that he can get the most out of his machinery, rather than a desperate feeling that he must force it to work. Hamilton's brain moves from an external operator of strict necessity to an internal operator of pure possibility. This reduces internal psychological conflict, and it triggers a profound biological transformation. Deep belief in your own capability produces measurable physiological changes, directly regulating heart rate, reducing somatic tremors, and buffering the body's stress responses during periods of intense pressure. He believes Ferrari can deliver him another world title,